hey, I didn't see you there. I'm Jeff.
I'm not Jeff.
Hi, I'm not Jeff.
So today we're at Hampton Beach, but we're not here to work on our beach bods or our dad bods. In fact, it's the end of the season here, which means it's almost fall.
Here in New England, fall only means one thing: witches.
That's right. There's a witch from right here in Hampton, New Hampshire, and we're going to tell you her story.
But before we do that, make sure you cast a spell on that like button, comment, and subscribe.
Hopefully you learned something too. Yeah.
Goodwife Eunice Cole, also known as Goody, was a somewhat unlikable woman who was accused of witchcraft 3 times in her life. The first charge came about in 1656 after some citizens in Hampton noticed witches' marks on her body as she was being whipped for another offense. Add that to some weird occurrences around the town, and of course, witchcraft. She was shipped off to Boston, tried, whipped, and eventually convicted of a lesser charge and spent at least 10 years in prison. She petitioned to be released to help care for her aging husband, but the court refused to let her go because she could not pay her board bill and court costs. Her husband died and left the house to her, but since a witch couldn't own property, the town took it over. She asked to be released again in 1665, and the court agreed as long as she left Boston. She couldn't make the trip, so she remained in prison until 1670. Eventually, the town of Hampton paid the bill and got her back to town and provided her with a little shack to live in. A different family was then asked to provide her with food on a weekly basis. They agreed only because they thought that she'd be dead soon. However, she clung to life for longer than they expected. It didn't take long for the accusations to come back. In 1673, she was once again in front of a judge for being a witch. This time she was accused of appearing in various human and animal forms to entice a young girl to live with her, of enchanting an oven of one of the constables who was responsible for bringing her provisions, and of committing other crimes.
So here we are at the Tuck Museum. We're actually going to walk over to where the dedication is to Goody Cole.
Well, let's go take a look.
Follow us along.
I guess I'll just keep rolling. She was accused of witchcraft again in 1680, but not enough evidence was supplied, so she went free. She returned to Hampton and lived out the rest of her days, but now the people in town didn't have to bring her any supplies, so she eventually died. There were some men that supposedly went to go check on her, found her body in her little shack on a pile of hay, so they decided they would bury her. They dug a shallow grave and drove a wooden stake through her heart so that she wouldn't come back and haunt them. Some people believe the stake missed its mark, and Goody did haunt the citizens of Hampton. Any tragedy that occurred in town was immediately attributed to the malevolent spirit of Goody Cole. Some say you can still see Goody walking around Founders Park looking for her stone. So here we are in front of the rock that the citizens of Hampton dedicated to Goody Cole on March 8th, 1938 at their 300th town meeting. So they took all the court documents with her, burned them, mixed those documents with some of the dirt from her original homestead, put it into an urn. And that urn now is in the museum, but the museum's closed. So maybe we'll put a picture of it or something up for you.
So as you can see, the rock is definitely a interesting shape, but it would definitely go down in the annals of history.
That is true.
So when you visit the Tuck Museum, make sure you come across the street over to Founders Park. The park has 46 stones that are dedicated to the founding families here in Hampton. So when you come over, make sure you check out the stones. Maybe you might notice a name. I'm sure you will.
Thanks for joining us here on another magical episode of Exit the Norm.
Make sure you cast a spell on that like button, subscribe, and let us know what your Patronus is down in the comments.
The dog and battle! Yahoo!